want to get these are just decorative. They don't really brace anything in the engine compartment. They make them out of plastic nowadays, but it's metal, so I'm fixing some scratches and stuff. There's like 5 layers of paint on these headlight surrounds, so we're stripping them. $26 with tax for a can of paint remover. 2 rounds of the aircraft paint remover. Got them down to where it's just a little bit left. Probably got to sand that by hand. I could keep going over it, I guess. Soften it up, and I've been wire brushing it, softening it up, let them dry, do another round, but I might do a third. Might as well. I'm not sure how long this stuff will sit and be okay until my next project, but in any event, like 4 layers, 5 layers of paint I got off of there, so they're getting close. The paint stripper did a pretty good job considering how much paint was on these. I sprayed it with some etching primer so it's not bare metal. Not much left of it. I'm going to hang it on this box like I did the other one. Doesn't take much, luckily, because we don't have much. Headlight surrounds sanded pretty good. I used some green Scotch-Brite style pads. It's a different brand, but they're actually probably a little finer than red, I think, by feel. It's a very fine scratch, about 600 or so, I would estimate. A couple low spots in the engine room panels, radiator support panels, what do you want to call them? Filler panels. So I got a couple low spots and chips I'm going to fix. I didn't strip these down to the metal like the headlights, although they seem to have just as much paint. It wasn't peeling and looking real flaky like the headlight surrounds were. But anyway, the plan today is we're going to get to the guide coat part of the process where it's getting a little more detailed. We're at the final stages looking for the tiniest pinholes and scratches and trying to bring it down to a 400 or so scratch or finer. I tend to run these a little after they start to wear. I keep going until it gets noticeably cutting very slow, then I'll change the pad. But when you run them a little worn, it's like a 450 grit or so, something like that. The only problem, you have to be careful because it'll get inconsistent. You could actually wear a pattern in the thing, and so part of it will be decent, part of it will be worn, and the outer edges usually are the worst. So it's going to be inconsistent. You don't ever want to push it that far. It's kind of a feel thing. You're getting a finer scratch than you really need, saving a little bit of sandpaper, but don't get crazy with it is my point. Anyway, we're going to put guide coat on the truck now. It's going to get a little more serious. Once we get the guide coat on, you want to sand the guide coat off. It'll stay in the low spots and scratches and pinholes, hopefully. You got to put it on there pretty liberally. Keep sanding until it's off. If you go through, then you have to fix a high spot or a scratch that's too much to get out for that stage. Hopefully that doesn't happen, but we'll see. Usually what I'll do is you just turn this over, shake it onto the pad. I usually use the spray one, but I don't know, this just looked appealing to me, but it's kind of weird thinking I like the spray guide coat better, because what this is going to do is just be dark gray instead of black, which will probably suit my purpose, I suppose. I'm doing circles also so that I don't miss spots. I think if you go like this, you can miss a lot of spots. I'm going to do half the hood and then start sanding. Some spots it might look really light on camera, but it's leaving some everywhere. Just not quite as heavy as I'd hoped. It seems to stick a little more and cover a little better if I go in several different directions, like when you're sanding. All right, this is why I bought the cordless tool, so I didn't have to follow it around the whole truck. This does have the soft foam pad, so I can get a little bit on the curves. I don't want to go too crazy. I want to do those by hand. I think I need to use a little bit of shop air. It seems a little too dusty. And I don't want it to move around to spots to make it look like there's guide coat there. Because then you'll over sand. I'm trying not to break through the primer anywhere. Now if you're doing a really high-end show truck, you'd run a tape line down that edge and a tape line down that edge, and either by hand or very carefully with a tool, if you're good at it, you get that edge nice and buttery, and you peel the tape off, put tape on the other side, and you do that, keep all your sharp corners, and then you knock the sharp corner down with by hand in a controlled fashion. The theory is they come out a little crisper and cleaner, and you don't alter the factory line. But in my experience, no matter how you do it, it's hard not to alter the factory line. When I worked in the body shop as a kid, that the lead guy that's doing the car would do that 5-6 times. Guide coat, sand, guide coat, sand, prime, sand. It's because he wanted to get it to what looked perfect to him. And you can drive yourself absolutely crazy going that far. So it's all about what you want your car to look like and how far you're gonna go. I'm gonna try to get this area done, show you what it looks like, what I think is good. I'm not gonna make you watch me do this to the whole truck. That looks pretty good, really. Show you what I'm shooting for. Now you can see here the guide coats and some of the scratches. It's still not so easy to spot. Little one here. I like the spray better. Next time I'll use the spray, I think. This is a little bit of a low still. I got to go over that some more. Hope that shows up. Let's watch this. It's just a tiny bit of grain in it from how the high build was a little bit heavy when I sprayed it, but it feels like absolute butter. Trying not to touch it too much, but I did just wash my hands. So there you go. That's what we're kind of shooting for. This is 99%. I just got to touch up a couple spots over here, and that section's done. This is what it kind of looks like when you, well, this is actually exactly what it looks like when you first go over with the sander. You can see all that, which honestly, I'm doing base coat, clear coat, no metallic or pearl, just an opaque red. I don't probably even have to really worry about that, but you do have to consider that if you don't take it smooth, then the base coat will follow the pattern, and the clear coat may even follow the pattern. And sometimes the clear coat, even if it lays flat, you'll see the texture under the clear coat. It looks really weird looking to see. So you definitely want to, I definitely want to take that at like 90% of perfect down, and then it won't show up. One side came out really good. Just one little pinhole and the tiniest little low spot the primer wouldn't smooth. The whole half of the hood, that's it. So real happy with that. Now the other half, I got a new piece of paper because it started to get to where it almost looks like it's kind of polishing it. So it's like worn down 1000 grit. I pushed it a little too far. I got to stop that. It gets worn a little bit. You notice, you know, you're just working a lot harder. Just change it. Giuseppe's here today too. I got the whole front clip done, doors and the bed, and we're good to go. Same thing over here. I put the built the guide code on it, but I'm losing steam. I'll pick it up another day. Well, we got to start some block sanding on the doors, or DA sanding I should say. We'll pass block. Also wanted to make a quick note too for anyone with a project vehicle like this. When I switched over to fuel injection, I'm letting it warm up. I apologize if it's noisy. It's been a while since I run it a little bit. But when you switch over to fuel injection, I didn't even stop to think about the fact that the PCV valve could mess with the fuel injection system because it doesn't have the constant vacuum leak to pull the crankcase vapors in. So it varies because of the little poppet valve and the PCV valve. I changed it to a 030 orifice, so it's a fixed diameter that's pulling a constant vacuum on the crankcase, and the fuel injection can keep better control of the idle. I was wondering why my idle was kind of weird, and I just bumped into it on a C10 forum. They should tell you that in the instructions, don't you think? Anyway, I'm going to touch up some of these spots, start blocking the doors. We'll come back when they're just about done. I'll show you some of the areas that are taking the most sanding or something like that, make it a little interesting. Got my dust particle fan on here, blowing right at me right here, so I'm not wearing a mask. Be advised, you should, unless you're filming a video and people can't hear you. Doing the parts I have to do by hand. Trying to get it pretty close. You can see here where I just went over it lightly. The edge, the guide coat's still there. This is what I'm trying to get out. If you don't do this stage, that's what you'll see under the clear, that roughness. And it's not going to be, like I said, perfect, but it's close. It's going to be good. Probably be the nicest paint job I've ever done. Try to get all these lows out of here. Now, because this is a curve, I don't need a block or anything like that. I'll normally use the DA with that interface pad that makes it nice and soft so it can go in these light curves. And then this edge here we can do. I'm not going to want to do that with the DA. And all I'm doing is knocking down the roughness. I'm not reshaping anything. The shaping we did in the last stage. We also sanded down this line. I'm not going to get in there with a DA. Door handle requires hand sanding. And a lot of this is covered by the chrome handle when I put it back on, but I still want it to look decent. If I peek under it, see where I didn't sand, it'll bother me. But even then, it's not going to be perfect. I'm just going to get it looking pretty good. I don't know if it'll show up on camera, but some of this is dust in the lows, but there's also still lows there. So I want to get them a little bit better. You got to go to where it's not, once it starts to clog, it sands like 1500. Hardly does anything. I'm also not pushing terribly hard, just a little bit of pressure. Now if you're doing an all-out show car, then of course you're going to try to make the stuff you can't even see as perfect as the stuff you can, because heaven forbid it peeks out a little further than you thought. I watched a video, Cars on Cars. I forget his name, Mark or something like that. He's a pretty funny guy, a little quirky, but aren't we all? He had a car upside down on a rotisserie doing body work on the frame and the floorboards from underneath. So he said it was his friend's car, so he was going above and beyond. But that's above and beyond. I mean, realistically, if you make a car nice enough, you could jack it up on one side and put mirrors underneath. People can come by and go, wow, these lunatics sanded the bottom of the car. Like Chip Foose and his guys. Now, if you didn't do this stage, you'd say the paint's going on kind of rough, but it's the surface you're painting on, not the paint. In this case. That's about what we're shooting for. This paper I got on Amazon wears out ridiculously fast. Literally about 2 or 3 minutes worth of sanding and it starts to feel like you're polishing. But I've been pushing through because I only have about 15, 16 sheets left, so I'm about halfway with what I bought. You can see where the time flies. This has been about 10 minutes and 15 seconds. So next thing you know, 6-7 hours has gone by. It's time to go home and take a shower. Now that looks good. But it's not quite 100% yet. A couple little pinholes here. How far down do you make it pinhole free? All the way down where people won't even look? And anywhere I get these burn throughs, I'm gonna have to touch it up with a little bit of primer and then just hit it with the 400 real quick, even by hand. I got the doors, the cab all done, front end's all done. I got a couple spots of red lead. We'll have to sand and spritz them with a little primer real quick. I'm ready for paint. We gotta do the bed panels and the tailgate. I think I'm gonna try to do the tailgate today. It's getting kind of late, but luckily I already cut the grass and that stuff. I do have to put chlorine in the pool. The weather's looking sketchy. Get this tailgate done real quick. I don't think enough people that make videos about bodywork. I mean, I've been doing this since I was 15 years old, but on an amateur level. But I don't think people that make videos about bodywork show you how long and how much work it really is to do this. And I'm probably showing a little too much of it, but I feel like if you're watching videos about bodywork and paint, maybe you just either like to watch somebody fix up their vehicle, or you're trying to figure out how to do it yourself, what it's going to take. So I want my videos to give you a realistic idea and let you know it's a lot of work, so you can get yourself mentally in the game. If you think you're going to sand the whole vehicle in a day, you're going to end up discouraged, and your vehicle is going to sit in a garage or shop or warehouse or wherever and never get done because you're going to be discouraged. It's a lot of work. You got to get your mind right and know that you're going to have to do a lot of work. Just try to tackle it a few hours at a time, a few minutes at a time, whatever you can spare, knowing that it's going to take a while. That's why I'm doing these videos the way I'm doing them. And there is going to be a total of 10 videos, start to finish, patina to paint on this truck. If you're new and this is the first one you're seeing, this is going to be 9. I'm going to finish getting this all ready for paint. Then we're going to put a tent up so I can paint it out here in the back of the shop and try to keep the bugs in case it starts raining or anything weird. Right on, brother. In case it starts raining or anything, we're going to use a tent and all, but that'll be the end of this video. And this is about the last I'm going to show of the DA sanding and the guide coat sanding. You get a really good idea what's going on. By the time it's all done, I'm going to have probably 150 hours, I would say, in the bodywork part of it. Well, we got this all DA sanded with 600. Touched up some of anything that went through bare metal with etching primer. I even did a little tiny bit of red spot putty. The driver's side quarter is the worst. I did some red spot putty on the top. If you remember how rusty this was, it's 3 times I had to fill little divots and pinholes and stuff. But it's nice and smooth now. This thing's ready for paint. Sanded the seam sealer down here a little bit up. I might touch this up a little more, but it's not bad. That's a little bit of guide coat in there. I'll probably just wipe it out, I think, at this point. Trucks, I did way more work on than I originally planned to at all, but I couldn't stop myself. So what we're going to do now is start putting a tent together. But what I'll probably do is go into the shop on a Saturday, try to edit at least Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday's videos. Go into the shop, set up the tent, figure out how I'm going to do everything with fans and ventilation. I ordered a duct fan, 16-inch duct fan, supposed to move like 5,500 CFM. Should be enough. I'm going to use a pressurized paint booth, really a party tent. But we're going to blow air, filtered air in, and hopefully it'll go out any gaps, keep bugs from trying to come into the area, keep me out of the sun, keep us out of the rain if it rains that day or something, or right after I paint it or whatever. I probably will wait if it looks like it's going to rain, but that's what we're going to do next, setting up the tent. And in the last video, number 10, we'll be laying some paint. Ventilation pan for the paint booth. Similar, but different. Let's turn it on low. That's high. Let's just say it moves a lot of air. Come on, little aeroplane, you can do it. Just barely getting it. All right, guys, we're back at the shop Saturday, setting up the tent to paint the project truck tomorrow. I'm gonna do 2 separate videos. The preparation, the tent, the finalizing of the truck, you already saw. Going forward, we're gonna do everything we can today to get it ready and in the tent, wash the truck. Tomorrow I come up, go over the truck with wax and grease remover, tack cloths, mask everything off, wax and grease remover and tack cloths again, and we start spraying some paint. The white is a little different than I was originally thinking. It was going to be more of a cream color, but it's a little closer to white, which I actually kind of like. I've been looking at pictures and stuff, and I couldn't really decide. So the people I ordered the paint from, I told them Ivory 526. That's what they sent. It's a little more white than what used to be on the truck, but it'll look cool. Getting everything all set up here. Wax and grease remover in here. Surface prep. I got some more here. This is full. Masking paper, not much left though. Spray gun cleaner. A roll of detail towels. Lint-free towels. Of course, the outer ones probably have a little dust on them. You got to be really careful too with introducing dust into the paint booth I'm gonna make. I'm gonna blow everything off here with dust. I'm not gonna bring any of this stuff into the tent with me to paint. It's gonna stay on a separate table outside the tent. The only thing I'll bring in is a small table that I'll keep the actual paint I mix, so that as I run out of paint I can put another cup on. Using these disposable cups, I have quite a few, just in case you don't want to run out and find out you needed something that was $10. I even bought a paint gun stand. I wasn't gonna. I'm like, well, I don't really need one. I can find a spot to put it, a coat hanger or something. And I said, well, I found this on Amazon, $4 with shipping. So I got it. I got extension cords out the wazoo. This one here is gonna run the big fan, which you heard earlier. Gonna be plenty. Some people are saying they use 2 of them, but I hope I don't need 2. This thing really moves some air. This one probably blows about 50% of the air this one does. Same diameter, but you see the fan blade differences. This is meant to keep you cool and move air. This is meant to ventilate and move a ton of air, and it's way noisier. Got a stand for when I paint the roof and the hood. Get this thing set up once the guys wake up. I got a couple friends coming to help me set the tent up, and we'll probably time lapse that. I got some cardboard for masking off the AC condenser and radiator behind the grill. I'm not going to disassemble it all. It's not a show truck. But I hate when you see body color on the radiator and condenser and stuff through the grill. That's the cardboard's for. Let's get to it. Piece of cake. Alright, lights are up, tent's up. Of course, typical cheap internet purchases on Amazon. This side of this light doesn't light, and that whole light doesn't light at all. And I'm painting tomorrow, so that's cool. I probably should have tried them. I just assumed when I bought new stuff it would work. And you know there's power going through it because there's no connection on the other end. It's feeding through this. If I unplug this, the others go out. So that's cool. I got switches here if I want to turn an individual side off or anything. Really disappointed. I have to contact them, let them know their lights are terrible. I'm gonna get some of these rocks. I'm gonna put a tarp in here, but I'm gonna do that last minute. These rocks are gonna be a little abrasive, and I don't want to walk back and forth on the tarp and have it cutting through these rocks. I might move some of the real nasty culprits out of here. The lights are just held in by the tent loops, extension cord. These loops are just holding the lights. I was going to tie wrap them, and Joe's like, well, just put them through the loops. I'm like, what? It works. So, and the natural light's actually pretty good. If I turn all these off, it's not really much darker in here, because daytime they don't really do much. It's for in case I end up here at night on Sunday painting. These are, I forgot, I bought these ones that are good as new, resale. So they're returned items that were good as new. XLN YUUI LED shop lights, 4-pack, made in China. I hope they'd at least work for one paint job and then maybe not work later on, but I have to get over it, I guess. Be advised, almost all of the screws are loose on this, and one of them actually fell out somewhere. I don't know if it was while I was running it or it came out of the box missing. I'm gonna go around, snug them all, and put blue Loctite on them. This is the one that was missing. You see it doesn't quite match, but kind of disappointed in a couple of my Amazon purchases now. Good deal though. It was a good deal. Got a good deal. You gotta keep telling yourself that. Makes you feel better. That's why sometimes, that one was really loose. Sometimes you're better off spending a couple of dollars more. I'm not saying I needed a snap, oh look at that. I'm not saying I needed a Snap-on fan, but I'm saying I might need to spend a few dollars more for, I mean Garvey, who the heck is Garvey? Red locker on here. Not as effective after the fact, but it'll help. Now, no more unforeseen problems tomorrow when we paint. Well, for you guys, it'll be the next video. For me, it'll be tomorrow. This is my duct. 16 feet long. Doesn't look it, does it? Hope it's not gonna spring out on me like a, what are those things called? Jack in the Box? So far it hasn't. On one end. Okay, this end has the string. This ties to the fan. And the other end, I tape into the booth somewhere. I'm trying to figure out where I wanted to put it, but I'm guessing somewhere around chest height. I don't want it higher than the truck for some reason. It makes me feel a little uneasy about chest height or face height, so I think it'll push fumes away from the level of my head the most, so I can have a decent visual while I'm spraying. Not that there's going to be no overspray. I just want less, if that makes sense. So the height is a thing. If it's on the bottom, I think it might just end up swirling. So it's got to be somewhere mid or higher. And then I'll have a fan at the bottom out on the other side pulling. The smaller fan will pull. The bigger fan is going to probably just push air out of any gap it can find. So I want to have some control over where it goes. I'm going to try to direct it towards the woods and move the vehicles obviously over there. Sometimes it's a smile, sometimes it's a frown. Depends on how many defective items you get from the Jungle website. That's a big old box for that, isn't it? What do you think? Seems like overkill. And put this tarp down, start getting this thing finalized. The last thing is going to be washing the truck. Then I'm going to pull it in the tent. Camp Mac multi-purpose heavy duty white tarp, 20 by 30. It's a big one. You always want to drain your compressors before you spend the day in your makeshift paint booth. This one's already done. Well, I'm going to let it drip, the last drip, so we can be ready for tomorrow. Full steam ahead, boys and girls. This thing must have had 5 gallons of water and it's been draining for 5 or 10 minutes. I came to get you guys to catch you up. I was trying to put some duct tape on the bottom. It doesn't really seal. It just peels off when the wind blows. And I turned the fan on and it kind of puffs the tent out a little bit. Not enough that the wind can't still push the sides in when the wind blows, but you can feel the air moving in the tent. I got the inner duct tied up with strings about shoulder height. I think we're about ready for tomorrow. Wash the truck real good. Wash the, I was had welding blankets, which I'll probably put back in. I washed both sides of them, make sure there's no dust to protect the stainless and the wood. It's dirty and all. It needs to basically be resprayed with clear. And I'm going to re-rhino line it after paint's all set up after a month or so. But it's all washed. Door jambs washed. The inner fenders under the hood, had the hood open, washed the sides up here. So we should have all the dust off. I washed the wheels too, just so that in case there was any dust. We all know obviously there was lots of grass on them. We don't want grass or dust in the tent. We don't want to add to it. It's not going to be 100% sealed like I had hoped, but it'll be good. It'll keep us out of the sun, keep us out of the rain, cut the bugs down by 80-90%, who knows for sure. But I know if I just tried to paint it right here, it'd be a total disaster, because we got gnats and mosquitoes and wasps and all kinds of stuff around here. We don't want any of that. So we'll pull this thing in the tent, and then we'll call it a video. Mucho gusto. Made my little makeshift. I'm just going to pick up these pieces of coat hanger, paint the part, and hang it on there gently. It won't be quite as windy with this door closed tomorrow and the fan on when we're spraying. So that's the paint booth. I got my spray gun test panels up. So you never test your spray gun on the vehicle you're painting. You test it on a piece of paper. I didn't want to paint the tent 100% of the way. It's going to get messed up anyway, but I don't want to spray it directly on it, right? Well, thanks for watching, guys. Next video, we're laying some paint. Hope I see you there. You're awesome.